Good morning all, CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Wednesday morning, January 11th. We are looking at Window Traders market profile of the S and SPY. So yesterday, the daily was put back into balance, okay? It's, again, very subjective, whether you want to just call it a 2-day balance, whether you want to incorporate Friday as a 3-day balance. It all depends. I think if we take out yesterday's high, to me, it would just be a 3-day balance then, no matter how high or how low we would go today, right? I would probably look at it that way going into tomorrow's CPI. But again, we still have 75, 80 minutes to go prior to the open, so a lot can happen. So we'll determine that by the day's end. However, without a doubt, it's in balance on the daily. So is the monthly. The weekly is up as far as I'm concerned. They tried to press low. Remember, we had a trend day down on Monday, okay? We took it back yesterday, but that's all we were really able to do. We had a tough time getting back into the upper distribution. Finally, we broke through J and K, L gave it back, and then M went out with a price probe. Well, right now, right, the most positive response is to open above the base of the price probe, which is K's high. Now, I didn't use it as a firm reference point because I said I want 50 cents or more away from the day's high or low for price probes, but I'm not going to ignore it. So if we have a gap higher, obviously, if I take a long, the first thing I would assess is if the gap fills and then see how much heat do I want to hold on to my long against K's high. I probably would, okay? We would still have higher value at that point. So that's something I would look at. Remember, we also said there is absolutely nothing inside of Monday's day until Monday's high. So if we're able to gap higher, you're going to be above both the 20 and the 50 with pretty much clear skies to Monday's high. So then we'll see if they get any traction and legs up to there. The big question we have to ask ourselves is how much do they want to take out prior to CPI tomorrow? Above Monday's high, our next destination in SPY isn't until 395 and change. Now that's not that high from here, so they might want to test that. But first things first, we still have a lot of time to go pre-market, so we'll see how they act. However, well, let's just look at the other ones real quickly. Qs are the same thing, looking to possibly gap higher. Okay, now they probed, they had a very small probe, so I really wouldn't lean on B's high too much. It's more the gap for them. And as far as Russell, don't forget, Russell went out with a trend day. They held single prints. So not only did they have a double distribution day, they also had a price probe, and now they're looking to gap higher. So that's pretty positive for Russell. So as far as us game plan, a gap of $1 or so, I would look for a long. If we get back to the wide POC, now I'm in threes. I'm not sure how wide it is, but depending on how wide this point of control is and the gap, if the gap fills, I might hold on to the long, but I would definitely be out of a long below K's high. Okay, because just as there's nothing on the upside here, well, guess what? There's really nothing inside of yesterday to the afternoon pullback. And as far as a short, well, it also depends where our overnight high will be. At that point, depending on how close we are, I might take a short against it because we have a huge history in this S&P of front running the overnight highs and lows. So that's something I might consider. But right now, you'd have value higher. So that's something you have to keep an eye on if you do take a short on the opening. Those are two early plays. Again, in the room, you get this up to the second update live webinar. And then on the chart, again, thank you very much for liking and subscribing to this channel. Here's the 20. Here's the 50. This is a very interesting thing going on for me. Okay, I'm following this very closely because last year the history of 20 over 50 made new lows. Well, we went over it, right, to the downside, but considering what we've done now, 3 days, if this continues and the buyers do try to wrestle control away, this is going to end up, instead of going down, curling back up. So very important to keep an eye on. So right now, we'll see which way we come out of this balance. Good luck trading today, and we'll recap at 4 p.m.